Hello, welcome to the program Big Talk on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimba. Today I have a professor with me who is going to take us on issues relating to technological development and how a country like Nigeria can move forward. I consider this discussion very passionate and important, possibly for those who are more interested to seeing that this country shouldn't be like the way it is. Of course, there's no country that develops without the use of science and technology. And Nigeria is actually working so hard to see how best it can do on that. Of course, we have the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, where many things are really happening there. There are agencies that are equally under the control of that ministry. The question is, to what extent are they funded to ensure that most of the research works we have are translated into innovative? And with me in the studio, I have a well-known Nigerian professor, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar. He is Professor of Emeritus. It's a pleasure having you on the program Big Talk on Global TV this evening, sir.
Good evening and welcome to the program.
So, Professor, how can a country be seen to be developed in this present day and age where we are, where nearly everything is seen to be the application of science and technology? Looking at Nigeria as it is.
Thank you very much, Jimba. The issue of development comes with ideas that match up with your adequate policies and planning. And if you can't plan, you cannot research. There is no way you are going to research, not to talk of developing what you have researched on. So the world is going at a very rapid space, fast space, that the science of yesterday is not the science of today. The logic of science of yesterday is not also the same thing. The calculus we used to know is not the calculus of today. So you find out that when some of us were there, we were talking of calculus, but today we are talking of further mathematics and the rest. So scientifically, we are developing from that enclosure into a wider bridge, narrowing it down from what we call the clumps of molecules to little molecules. So you as a scientist, you are not looking at the picture of just now, but you are looking at the picture of how it goes with the dynamics of today. When some of us studied computer engineering, it was a big gigantic equipment. Today you can fold all your informations into just your palm and walk away with the informations, because we move from computer software development, hardware development into what it is today. From there we got to artificial intelligence. Even artificial intelligence is going to phase out, and we will see the rapid growth of nanotechnology. So every day some adequate principles and concepts of engineering and science is coming up. So it awakening us to say what is really the day in, day out of science and technology. We are missing out as Africans. We are not supposed to be where we are, because in the 70s up to the early 80s, we were not at par with China, India, Malaysia, and Taiwan. We were much ahead of them. But today you can see that our growth scientifically and technologically is thwarted by our sense of logic. It's not, when I say sense of logic, I'm not talking of logic as principles or concept as it relates to legal issues, or logic as a concept in sociology or criminology. I'm talking of logic as it affects science and engineering. If you look at it very well, you go to our National Assemblies today, you find out that There is nobody piloting laws that reflect on science, engineering, and technology. So the moment you don't have laws, regulatory laws, that reflect on engineering, science, and technology, what are you going to, where are you, the development come from? The development becomes very little because the people who are fighting for these research templates will not be able to develop their research. I will give you an example. Let me give you an example. Israel itself makes more money or generate more revenue from research template because of what? Because they painted their materials and sell it to industrial sectors to develop. Not because they are developed in Israel, but they are developed outside Israel, but they have painted. So how many things have we painted? None. We were having this science and technology expo that used to take place every year. If you ask the
here in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. So if you go back,
that was during
Ogbonnaya, and I started even right from the time when General Mama was the Minister of Science and Technology to the time of Ogbonnaya. When you look at it, most of these people were coming from every cross and device of the country to exhibit their products. But how many of these were ever painted? None.
Why?
Not even what NDA was doing. When we feel that NDA built a military organization, military stand institutions, and what they have done, they are supposed to be painted, but no funding, nothing.
Yeah, because I was to ask you, why are they not painted? Is it because they are poorly produced, that cannot be seen to be useful, and so you just show something and then allow it to disappear at the end of the day?
When you are talking of painted material, it's not because they are locally produced products. And they are nowhere to be found. The first thing is you painted that product.
Your intellectual.
Yeah, it's an intellectual property.
Yeah.
So if you don't painted it because it is not well produced or it's not marketable, how will you advance on it tomorrow?
Okay.
If you go to American today, American don't have yam. But the yam pounding machine was painted in American. But where did the research and development come from? University of Ife, which is today our Bafemi Awolowo University. So we that were the product of that design or that research, we now go back and say we want to manufacture. We have to collect painted right from American. But do America have yam?
They don't.
So these are the things we are talking of.
As a professor, I should have asked you, because those who are really watching us, Prof, don't know your area of specialization. And again, as a professor of emeritus, at one time or the other, did you have any research works that could be used, going forward, but probably you did not release them?
Yes, you even when you go to the public and display what you can do or capable of doing, nobody in Nigeria here, they are relaxed. They are not going to listen to it. I will give you an example.
Yes.
Damian Anyanwu was a student of the University of Nsukka, where he studied. And when he graduated, he said, no, I have no work to do. I want to do transmitters. He started broadcasting in Umbise on FM. The Nigerian government...
Developed by him, you mean?
Yes. We were developing... Then we used to have shortwave radio. We have medium wave. And upper wave system in Nigeria. All over the world.
Yeah.
There was no FM. But when Damian started broadcasting on FM, the Nigerian government arrested him, that is interrupting with the airwave.
Of the SW, shortwaves.
Yes. And he was released and the Japanese took him over. He went to develop the same system for Japan Today, Japan is not making less than 500 billion US dollars from FM all over the world. Who is the person? Damian Ayawu. Who is Damian Ayawu from? Nigeria. Is everybody? Is there anything like shortwave and medium wave again?
Nothing.
No. Do anybody knows? If you want to ask for the patent right, they will tell you go to Japan. But do anybody know Damian Ayawu?
No,
and do anybody knows the history of
no.
FM today? These are the things some of us are talking about. I have over 2,000 research works.
You?
Yes, personally.
They are kept by you in your shelf.
What will I do?
Are you saying that they are not marketable for you to not release those?
Yes, they are marketable.
Are you aware, Professor, that the Raw Material and Research Development Council, RMRDC, under the leadership of Professor Martins E.K. Monso, professor like you as well.
Yes.
Yes, recently, not up to a week, that he told the world that the federal government has given that agency the right to allow manufacturers and researchers to take over these raw materials and develop them. There will be incentives that will be given to them. And they will equally take a certain amount of money as tax incentives from those local manufacturers. Are you aware of that? For you to now move further than necessary?
What you should know is that what are the incentives? You should know what are the incentives, because you should know the incentives. You know what you pass through to get these research works on the run.
Yeah.
And somebody is just asking you, can you develop it and do this and do that, and I will
using it locally, like
yes,
the way
I give it
locally,
and I will give you 5 million naira, and you find out that 5 million has not even covered your logistics. So why did you want to go for it?
I should be asking you.
So you will not want to go for it because it's not even up to your logistics, not to talk of developing.
So what are they saying there at that raw material research development?
It's just like we have...
I see a professor and a researcher.
That is what I'm telling you. It's just like I have done something when there is nothing. It's like somebody... we were discussing in one forum, which was an economic forum, and that, okay, your son graduate from the graduate in whatever field and said, I am not ready to look for a job, a salary paid job, but I can give you, go and bring a feasibility studies, I will give you money as a take-off capital. And the boy brings to you, let's say, a cross plus minus, a 20 million naira feasibility studies. You gave it 20 million naira. And he has been staying here in Abuja. Now he's moving to Kano. You should know that he's going to rent a house where he's going to stay. He's going to furnish that house or put some mini furnitures. He's going to rent an office where he starts from, and he's going to do what? So we call those kind of capitals start and grow. It is not for services.
Okay.
So when you don't know the economic terms, I love engineering one way or the other, because engineering will tell you engineering economy, engineering management. So you study management and economics together. So that is just start and grow. So when it comes to customer service, he needs more than that, because somebody can say, come and install solar for me, and it's going to cost me, it's going to cost you 10 million naira. He needs more money. But what will the Nigerian parents do? Have I not done much for you? Because they don't know the economic viability and what this child is doing.
So what are you saying now? Are you of the opinion that indeed what government provides in terms of funds to carry out certain basic
it's not encouraging.
So what is raw material saying now?
What raw material is just telling you is that some certain people should come and file up in their office expecting that something good will come out when there is nothing. There is no provision for that. Yeah, it's just like I want to take breakfast and you are giving me a cup of tea as breakfast without bread, without sugar, without milk.
But outside what government provides for these agencies that are under Ministry of Science and Technology, don't they have other sources, like maybe individuals or countries or governments or whatever, supporting them so that they could go beyond the level at which we are seeing them right now? I'm speaking with specific interest on what raw material does, or either Naseni, or either GMOs being carried out by National Agency for Research and Development Council, that's NAFDA, along Airport Road. All these are agencies under the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, and they are into research. And they equally call researchers like you to do more so that they will get benefits out of it.
That is the area I'm coming from.
Yeah.
The area I'm coming from is in, I think, 2019 or 2020, the budget of 2019, the budget of Ministry of Science and Technology was about 200 and something billion. But the donor funds were much higher than, much more than that amount of money. But what did they do with the funds?
You mean funds coming out from outside the country?
From donors.
Donors, and they could be both within and outside, right?
Yes. So those donor funds, what happened to the funds? What we look at every year is we are looking at the funds as budgeted by the government. We are not looking at donor funds coming in.
Professor, very continue. You said in that particular year, you said 20 billion naira or so, 200 billion naira or whatever,
yes,
as budget for that particular year.
Yeah, for the whole, the entire ministry.
Yes. Meanwhile, what donors do or give out is over that amount.
Very well, much over that amount of money.
You mean, can that be continued even up to now, you mean?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Because you are a professor.
The funds are still coming in. Donor funds are coming in every day. But nobody give accounts of these donor funds.
Don't forget that Donald Trump has withdrawn certain support for countries, poor countries, let me be specific, where America used to use the taxpayers' money from America to support certain areas in life, either treatment of certain diseases that are considered to be killer diseases like HIV and things like that. Donald Trump has more or less withdrawn that kind of support.
That is just US aid.
Okay.
Did they withdraw Ford Foundation, Arthur McCarthy Foundation? Have they withdraw Bill Gates Foundation? Did they withdraw all those foundations? No.
All these foundations are there.
Yeah, the foundation.
It's only US aid.
Yes. So if Trump said he has withdrawn, he only withdrawn the US aid, not these foundations.
So meaning these donors are still given out.
You can see a building very close to you that is
Professor
T.Y. Danjuma Foundation.
Sean.
So will you say because the federal government said they are not going to offer aids, then T.Y. Danjuma is also involved? No.
Okay.
Is Dangote Foundation also involved? No. So it is US aid is different, but other foundations and other empowering societies are still empowering us one way or the other. But where do the funds go to? Because nobody is probing those funds. There is no transparency in the distribution of those funds. So that is where the problem really lies. Nobody accounts for such funds. Nobody.
Even up to now.
Yeah, because you don't even know when the funds came in, and you don't even know how the funds were disbursed. We don't have a system that monitor these funds, how they came in.
But are they easily accessible in the first place, these funds? Because I'm told that there are barriers in accessing them, despite the fact that you can see billions of US dollars lying somewhere. But for you to access that becomes a little bit taxful. Or
to the NGOs, yes, not to the government.
Okay.
To the NGOs, that is where the questions are. Are these funds are coming because of one certain thing? Is this for terrorists to to finance terrorism? Is it to, that is, yes, that one is being looked into critically by the government agencies. But the ones coming to government, to institutions, government, public institutions, who monitor them?
That now you know. What have you said to the public?
Oh, well, the public on their
Have you ever had the opportunity to address a gathering with that kind of mindset?
Yeah, I've done.
If you had that mindset while addressing this gathering, did you tell them some of these things you are saying now on the national television?
Yes, I've told them severally, even in the National Assembly. I have gone to the National Assembly where I presented a paper before the Senate Committee on Security, the Senate Committee, the House Committee on Security, that of Agriculture, and the rest. And nobody is ready to do anything about them. Nobody is ready to address these issues. Let's look at it. What is wrong in having engineering laws passed? Why are we using money every day to construct a road that is supposed to last 25 to 50 years? And we will pay a contractor that just finished today and pay him off without looking that there's supposed to be a detailed, by standard, by law, that road is not supposed to fail for the next 25 or 50 years. Either whether it's a truck A road, truck B road, and truck C. All of them have their lifespan.
We are complicit in one way or the other.
No.
That's why.
No, because the enabling law, the legislation is not there. So everybody do whatever he wants to do. I have to buy a bulb. And the bulb I bought from somebody now, I have to, they will tell me it has blown off. I have to buy another one. Whereas the lifespan of a bulb is written a minimum of 6 years,
yes.
6 months, a maximum of 1 year. So if my bulb, which is supposed to have 1 year lifespan, will just finish today under 24 or under 1 hour, and I will buy a new one, and they said we are not the manufacturer. So where is the law?
Are we like a dump site to some of these developed countries?
Very, very good dump site, because one, we don't have a standard. We have a standard organization that is not standard. We bring in anything because Nigeria is an open market. If you go to the market today, they will tell you, go to NAFDAC, they will tell you they have herbal tea already with NAFDAC number, where you have not inspected the factory. Some of them even have cases with the police, and yet the police is allowing NAFDAC to register such teas, and people are consuming them without looking at the effect. All you need is you have the money to register them. You are not going into any process.
Meanwhile, there's no standard.
There is no standard. It's just like any other thing you can think of. Go to the market today, you see people hawking in the street with NAFDAC number, and they are all sex-enhancing drugs or materials or tea that tell you it is energize your body as a man, and this, it increase your libido and the rest. Is that what we are looking at? Is that how we are going to develop? Are you saying that we don't have teas? So all the parameters of offices are, I call them gladiators, who are just operating in the Nigerian space just to make what they were. Whereas the intellectual values that we are supposed to collect from this is not there. So what happens to our intellects? What happens to the development? Development, if you know the history of Ford, you know the history of Mercedes Daimler, you know the history of General Motors Corporation, you know the history of Peugeot, you know the history. So what is actually very difficult in us manufacturing our own vehicles? The only system that is not compliance in a vehicle is not any magic, it's the camshaft and the crankshaft. And when you can get these two,
you are good to go.
You are good to go. You have done an engine. The remaining things are carcass. So what is wrong with our electronic system or our electrical system that we cry every day that we don't have electricity? Every day. Today, they have given generation to some private sector. They have given distribution to some power sector, and they are keeping transmission to themselves. What for? Why can't I generate my power, transmit and distribute? In one of my research, funny enough, is that we don't need what is transmission today called 330 kV line and 132 kV lines. We don't need them. 132 11 kV, 330 30 kV is not needed. 33 kV is not needed. Science has proved that we can generate and transmit with just chips and distribute with chips. We don't even need cables any longer. Gone are the days when people use cables. With chips, your bulb will be on, your TV will be on, everything you need will be on, your AC will be on. And you can just remove the chips and walk away. So technology has gone beyond that because I personally have research on that. I have developed the template. I have put the prototype in place.
And that's why I asked you earlier that you have this opportunity being provided for by IMRDC.
No, there is something you are not getting here. Raw Material Development Agency is talking of raw materials as mineral materials and other
that will be converted.
Yes, so I'm not talking of minerals. I'm talking of other technology here.
But I was really thinking, as much as you have an idea of,
and even when we talk of minerals, go back to raw materials. Ask them, where did you get some certain minerals from? Because they are the ones that said they are raw materials going to develop minerals and bring them to the productive sector. Go and ask them, where is so mineral, where is so mineral, where is so mineral that you can develop. They will never be able to give you an index.
You mean they don't even know?
Most of them don't know. And now I can prove it to you that they don't even know. A friend of mine in Imo State was always coming to Jos to get barite for his construction job. Till the day I told him that, why are you coming to Jos when you have barite in Olu in your backyard?
Where's barite made from?
Huh?
What is barite make?
It's another mineral of
okay. What is it used for?
It's used for construction, right? Mostly road construction. Road construction. And he was baffled when I showed him a site in his own state in Olu. All these years, nobody knows that there is such minerals. There is no state in this country that is poor. And I can tell you for free that 95% of the potentials in Europe and America are already gone, remaining just 5%. Nigeria still have at least 90 to 95% potentials that are not tapped into. So Nigeria is so blessed and so rich and so comfortable that we are not supposed to be thinking and going the way we are going. We are supposed to be more advanced than where we are today. But all what we think of is the negative side and the negative effect of Nigeria, when Nigeria is supposed to be one of the most prosperous nations in the world. And they know. The Western world knows. They knows. It's not as if
they know who we are.
They know. And that is why if you go to Europe today, you say you are a Nigerian. The way they talk to you, the way they welcome you is different, unless to those backsiders in Europe and America who don't know what Nigeria is made of. They know. You know, that standard reflection. And I tell people that if we put ourselves on our feet, and we can stand on our feet, in the next 10, 20 years, the same imperialists will come here and work for us.
And that's why they will never allow us to grow. Well,
you don't blame anybody that is tapping from your ignorance. You don't blame anybody that taps from your ignorance.
I agree with you.
So if your wife come back home and tell you, please, the price of meat now per kilo is 20,000 naira, and you
give,
and you say no problem, you give. She's already tapping on your ignorance. So they are tapping from our ignorance.
I agree with you.
And again, not only ignorance, we are easily blackmailed. What are we going to look for in Belarus? Why are we looking for funds from Brazil for agricultural development in Nigeria? How? When only one state in Nigeria can feed the whole of the country, and about 3 states in Nigeria to 5 states in Nigeria can feed the whole of the country. So why are we going to look for a model from Netherlands to do what? When the system in Netherlands today, which is called the waste to wet scheme in Netherlands, was a Nigerian concept. So if it is a Nigerian concept, why can't we build the same concept that will give us waste to wet, that will give us trillions of naira as revenue every year? So sometimes it's very disheartening when you are speaking on intellectual and capital inflows that are trapped on the ground because some people want to create it, maybe create it that way so that people will be begging for scraps from their table.
So this research works that you have, 2,000 you said, your own personal research?
Over 2,000, yes.
Over 2,000?
Yes.
You have just named one.
I've not only named one.
You know, in the course of analysis, you mentioned one.
Yes.
Can you call one or two more?
The automatic gas terminus chamber, the shock absorber and diffusing system. The one I just said now, that waste to wet scheme, all of them were my research work developed all over the world.
And you are not ready to divulge the information?
How many presentations have I done in NNPC? 139 presentations. They clamp hand for me and I leave.
139 presentations?
Yes, and we have oil spillage every day. And we have oil spillage every day. Why? Because they don't want people to know what is our production of oil. They don't want to give account of what crude oil and gas we are producing every day. They don't want the system to function. How many presentations have I done in Ministry of Defense? Yet, nobody call you back. So, the problem we have here is not just the problem of we can't do it. It is a problem of who is him. Where is he coming from? Why must he be him? And they forgot that even William Shakespeare said it, that the you in you that makes you the you in you is the you you are. And you can't change that. But we are delaying our progression by acting this way. And that delay has brought us to a level where our tomorrow, our today and tomorrow, let me talk of the today. Our today is like, is it going to? So you see the high flights of the young ones moving in a cross wave, battling to see whether they can survive. So you see the Japa syndrome or whatever syndrome. You blame the young ones, yes. Just like somebody who was discussing with me, he said, who is Kemi Badmus supposed to know that he's a Nigerian? Why is he acting that way? I said, Nigerians alone, when John Mahama of Ghana was contesting as the president of Ghana, Nigerians did not give him less than 100 million US dollars from private pockets. If more than that. But Kemi Badmus, who is our daughter, the Nigerian government has never encouraged her till she becomes the leader of the party.
So why?
So why must you think that because he needs to give you attention?
She can't really. She's flying alone.
Our boxer, Joshua, came here and said he wanted to represent Nigeria in boxing. We said he's not needed. He became world champion. Everybody started celebrating him. Must you wait till when somebody becomes a champion or somebody has made it on his own honor, then you celebrate him and call him your own? So also is happening to our engineers, our scientists, our technologists in the area of developing their template from their research work to full development. Nobody cares. And a society that don't care about what you are going through, what you are putting in and the rest. Some of us who are researchers put up our private money to do some of the research, and the government will not even recognize you. They don't care.
What happens after it all, sir?
You better paint, you do a painted work of your materials yourself, and that is just all. Hold it to yourself. That is because that is what by the time you have lived to many years as you can, or as you could, so to speak, what will happen now that we are not seeing those works? Well, do you know that a lot of people have died with their ideas?
That's what I'm saying.
So they would definitely, you either
lose that.
Yes, you definitely lose that, and your family lose that too, because all the years of your suffering has gone.
So let me take you to GMO, that's genetically modified organisms.
Yes.
Do you have an idea of that? Because I see it's being promoted.
It's being promoted because they want to thwart the effort of African. We don't need it. Why is genetically modified? Modified because you don't need to develop it in your own soil again. So you always buy from them. The seeds they are giving you,
they will not be natural like the one we have, right?
Yes.
They wouldn't be natural.
You can see now that they have even gone more step ahead, where they are even also molding eggs for you to eat.
Eggs?
Yes.
The one that chicken lays?
Yes. There is no longer chicken laying them. They make them in the laboratory and they sell it out to you to buy. That is a war against Africa and African development in agric. Most of these...
Who are the proponents of this kind of theories?
The theory is a wide conspiracy against Africa. So let's not point to only one country.
Okay.
But it's a wide conspiracy against Africa, knowing that Nigeria mostly is the centralized point. And they have feel that Nigerians buy anything in the world. Anything you just bring, we are here to buy. We are here to make. So we have the purchasing power. It is even a thing of a pride for us sometimes to say, I take this kind of meat. I take this kind of chicken. I don't eat any rice that is not occupants.
It's a price.
It's a pride for us because we like self-aggrandizement.
Aggrandizement. Want to be noticed.
Yeah. So they know this. They know our weakness. They have studied us over time. And they bring in these things for us to consume. So you see a lot of young ones. It is very difficult for you to see a young person suffering from case of cancer at the age of but today you see cancer at 20-something.
Even before, less than that.
Less than that. You see case of cancer everywhere because our forefathers never had cancer. Our forefathers never had poultry. Our forefathers never had this kind of diseases because everything then was natural. Now they introduce so many things you don't understand into what we are doing. They tell us how to get even mangoes that are ripened.
They chemicalize it.
Yeah, watermelon. All of them. Even granite has modified seeds. So these are the things that we should look into and come back. During Jonathan, we have this agric roadmap, which was very fantastic. Till the young man who became the president of African Development Bank and was a minister of, was then Minister of Agri.
Yes.
Maneuvered the scheme. So where is the money of that scheme? He started giving people one fertilizer and one handset of 500 or 1,000 naira to come and collect one bag of fertilizer. That is where the whole billions went into, and they were clapping hands for him. So that is the level of ignorance we have in the society. So we are not supposed to suffer from electricity. We are suffering from electricity. We are not supposed to suffer from water. We are suffering from water. We are not supposed to suffer from the crisis of petroleum products. We are suffering. I am telling you that the refinery operated by INA Industrial Giant in Zagreb is older than all the refineries put together we have in Nigeria. But yes, it's functioning up to tomorrow. So why is our own collapsing? What makes it obsolete? And I can tell you for free again that the companies that came for turnaround maintenance, where are the turnaround maintenance? I don't want to call company names that has come here for turnaround maintenance, but then was there any turnaround maintenance? Are you telling me that the refineries cannot be fixed without all these people? by the staff of the refineries. They can fix those refineries themselves. But there is a clause somewhere. And unless they remove that clause and that bottleneck, the refineries can never function. We will end up selling all the refineries. I'm telling you, and people are ready to bid for them and buy them over. Those people who knows, who are those people too. And that is how we are running the country and the society. And that is how we are running the engineering sector, the technological sector, the science sector. And without engineering, science, and technology, a nation cannot develop. Any nation you see developed today started with engineering, science, technology. And when you cannot apply this, we are rolling out graduates today who has not seen any practical aspect of engineering. And they will tell you they are graduates of engineering, theoretically. The practical aspect is...
It's not there.
It's not there. You can see a smart boy give you a very beautiful design, but put that design to work.
Zero.
Zero. No knowledge. So until we go back to know that planning, research, and development are key, and you must look at this research, you must look at the research templates and also make sure that we painted our materials, our intellectual materials, then we are running nothing. From only painted materials, I have told you, Israel is making trillions. Israel is making trillions. So why can't we go back and said, what do we do? What did you have in you? I've seen a very young lady in Jigawa that turned only and was riding by fuel, tons water and some other things to buy fuel. And that is the way to go. But since that discovery some years ago up to today, nobody has talked about that young lady any longer. So these are the losing ends that we do not bring these young ones into a meeting point, breaks them into segments, and develop them from that young age. Well, we are still asking who is the father of the young lady? Who is the father of that young man? What political carry does he have? Who is their godfather? Do we need godfather?
Prof, let me just ask you this personal opinion, personal question, so to speak. Won't you, if you're asked to manage a ministry, or probably you must have been asked to manage, but the way I see you, as if you are more like you have your philosophy to life. I'm sorry if I'm getting you wrong.
No, I'm not. Go on.
I just want to know, as with all these things that you have said, they point out to the fact that if you are asked to manage either an agency or a ministry, you are likely to turn around that agency or the ministry. The question here is, have you ever been offered with one? Or do you intend to get one?
Let me give you an
answer.
Let me give you a quick answer.
Or is it because who you know has not been there?
No, let me give you a quick answer. One, if they are giving me an office or portfolio to hold, and that portfolio will be this and this and that, I will also give you my conditions. In the conditions in which I work, I am not clamoring for a political position whatsoever. I can only say I want to build impact in Nigeria. I want to tell people that I'm a Nigerian. I want to show that my own segment of contribution can contribute in revenue to the purse of the federal government. I've not seen any organization that is not driving for revenue for the public sector. If you are driving for revenue for the private sector, you should also drive for revenue for the public sector.
Yeah.
And over time, when I speak, even in the National Assembly, I said, if I am in position, I will not give any ministry, agency, or parastatals one dime as budget, because they can finance themselves.
Wow.
So get the revenue, generate your own money. Good. The National Assembly has made it very easy. The easiest part of it is that if you make generate as revenue, you can go with 30% of what you have generated.
Yeah.
So I am ready to go in line with that, generate whatever I can generate from whatever sector, and use that 30%. Let the government go with the 70%. But I don't need their budget.
Okay. Because of time factor, Professor, for how long have you been a professor before you become an emeritus?
Well, I became a professor on 17th of January 1995.
That's closer to about how many years now?
That is 30-something years now.
I can imagine. You started very early then.
Oh, well, I would say I was born into an academic family. So if you are not an academician, you are not recognized.
You are not there.
Yes.
Which state are you from, sir?
I'm from Bauchi State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine the wealth of knowledge you have. But you can still be a visiting professor to some universities and lecture more on that.
Well, I've done all those. Now I have to think of the wider areas of how will the young ones come up and develop themselves. You don't stay off guide when you cannot mentor people that will become, every time we say we want the leaders of tomorrow, but have we been able to mentor people that will take over from us?
Not at all.
So for now, I think I have done so much that I feel that I have to mentor people that can take over from me.
Okay.
Because the reason why the black nations don't have generational wealth is just 3P: persistence, perseverance, and patience. So if you don't have these 3 P's, you can't
go anywhere.
No, the nation cannot move.
Wow.
And that 3 P's are not your children, because your children don't believe in you.
Your children don't believe in you.
No, and that is why we hand over our riches to, because we don't have wealth. We hand over our riches to our children, and at the end of the day, you just kick the bucket, and that is just the issue.
Okay.
You never see the wealth, you never see the riches again. They fly away.
Prof, I enjoy really speaking with you, because you more or less took me back to how most of you were in the university teaching students, and that's the way you can imagine. I took time listening to you because I enjoyed nearly everything you said, I must confess.
Thank you very much.
Professor, thank you so much for being part of this program, Big Talk on Global TV.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you very much.
Well, that's how far we can go on Big Talk on Global TV. I had Professor Ibrahim Abubakar, Professor of Emeritus. You listened, we watched him, how he explained the best way we can do as a country to move forward. Well, it's left for you to pick up from where he stopped. My name is Topsy Gimba, and bye-bye.